Okay, we did it. This is good evening. This is John Bennett, Dr. Bennett, broadcasting from Miami. This is our first neurosurgical TV show. And tonight we're going to introduce you to Julio Pereira, MD. He's a neurosurgeon from Sao Paulo, as well as some other distinguished panelists. The way we'll structure it tonight is basically to explain to people what it's all about, what we're trying to do, and how we're trying to utilize the technology of Google Hangouts. And what we'll do is we'll go around and kind of introduce each other, and then Julio and I will kind of interview each other, and then we'll all just chat. It's not real formal. So welcome, gentlemen, and we'll start with you, Julio. Just a short introduction, then we'll come back to us.
My name is Julio Pereira. I'm from NeuroSurgical blog. I love to work internet. I have a blog. I have Twitter, NeuroCirurgia BR. So when John talk about NeuroSurgical TV, I say he's the guy. So I'm here. Try to help this show. And that's
welcome,
at the moment.
Welcome, Julio. Felipe?
Hi, I'm Felipe. I'm from Brazil, as Julio and Marcos. I'm a medical graduate from Londrina, and I'm now applying to internal medicine here at the United States for residency. And I'm participating and trying to help Julio in his projects as I can. And we have been publishing about the social media lately. It's very nice to meet you all here. I'm very glad to be here. Thank you, John.
Welcome, Felipe. Marco?
Hi, John. Thank you for inviting me for this big project. And I'm a clinical oncologist here in São Paulo, Brazil. I'm a friend of Julio and Batalin, and I'm graduated from NIH, Brazilian NIH, Instituto Nacional de Câncer, in Rio de Janeiro, and I'm focused in brain tumor and lung cancer and head and neck cancer. I have some experience in University of Miami and Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm happy to join you.
Thank you, Marco, and thanks for coming. And Simon? Simon, can you hear? You're muting. Hello, Simon. Simon. Hello, Simon. Okay, we'll go to John. John. Whoop, John dropped out. Simon, can you hear? I'm sorry, fellows. And we'll see this sometimes. There'll be some technical difficulty.
Hello.
Okay. Simon, there you go. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sorry.
Can you introduce yourself and
yes,
please?
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. My name is Simon Downs. I'm a child developmental psychologist in Tokyo, Japan. I've been here 23 years. So I'm also a medical student, and I'm very interested and excited to be a part of this panel. Thank you very much.
Okay, welcome, Simon. John, how you doing tonight?
Good, John. How are you?
Good, good. You want to just introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, sure. Sean Orr. I'm a vascular and interventional neurologist. Do critical care neurology and stroke neurology. Nice to meet you all.
Okay, thanks for coming, Sean. And John?
Hello, everybody. I'm John Minarcik. I'm a pathologist. I've been teaching pathology courses online for about 5 or 6 years now. And I think if you can all hear me, I have enough experience to give you one tip. If you had any problems at all with your audio, it will help immensely if you mute yourself when you're not speaking. Then everybody else will sound clear rather than choppy if you're getting choppy sound like I am. Okay. Hello, everybody.
Okay, welcome, John. Okay, very good. Everyone's introduced themselves, and we'll just kind of chat about what the purpose of what we're doing here today. and I'll kind of interview Julio a little bit because he has the reason why I was attracted to Julio when I ran across his profile. He's a very unusual type of doctor, especially for a neurosurgeon, because neurosurgeons are so busy and they don't have much time for social media. But Julio is not only pretty active in Facebook and social media, he's also written a couple of books. So Julio, welcome. And Julio, can you just tell us when you first got involved with computers? Did that come along with an interest in medicine, or how does that work?
Hi. I make a small presentation. I don't know, can you see? I will just try to. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So I did this presentation, try to explain how I begin to work with neurosurgical area and digital era. So I began to study this because internet is my life and other people's life. So people love internet, and I'm a young guy. I have 32 years old, so I love internet. After that, I have some kind of experience in my life. I went in Harvard 2006. I go to SLA next year, and I work with Med Student Association. So for me, internet it's very important. I love Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, blog, and for me it's about network. So I imagine, John, that why I like internet because it's network. It's not because internet, but because it's people. So in these 4 years of neurosurgery blog, I met very interesting people. First is Felipe. Felipe is a very smart guy. He's from Brazil, but I met him at UCLA. I met Peter Camby. Peter Camby is the king of the internet and digital era in neurosurgery. And I did some things very interesting, in my opinion, like my apps. We have several apps. It's not my apps. It's about a team that work in this. And these apps have more than 80,000 downloads in the world. So it was very interesting. After that, I wrote some kind of ebooks in Portuguese, and I began to translate in English. But can you hear? My English is not very good, so it's very hard. But for me, internet is about teamwork. And for me, the future of it's not only neurosurgery, it's everything. Virtual it's equal to real. It's about horizontal relationship. It's about at network. You have to worry about your online reputation. You can share clinical cases, and you are the boss. I imagine that I love internet because this. You don't have boss. You are your boss. But of course, internet have some kind of limitation. And just this, John. I train a lot to speak 5 minutes. Can you?
Okay.
Okay, John.
Okay, very good.
Very good, Julio. Try to do a short presentation about my experience in the internet. I don't know if you can understand very well what I say, but that was my experience.
No,
You're doing great.
We can understand you fine. Julio, did you really start young with interest in computers, like as a child, or how did you start? I know that you're younger than all of us, most of us, and you
Yes.
probably grew up with them, right?
Yes, that was interesting because I don't understand about the internet. I don't understand about computer. I just like network and met people. So I go to Facebook. It's very easy. I go to Twitter, and I try to create relationship. It's for me. It's not about internet. It's about people way. In Brazil, in my opinion, people like to meet other people. So you can grow very fast.
How did you build up such a large following? Was it a slow, gradual ascent, or
I don't know.
That's a lot of followers for.
I don't know. I don't know. I think because no one do this, so I was the first. Just because this. When I see WNS, CNS has less followers than me, that's strange. I don't know why. The
I,
WNS is it's American Neurosurgical Society, and CNS is Central North American Neurosurgical Society.
I think I can help you answering that question. As you guys all can see, Julio is it's easier when you talk this stuff about other people. He's a very nice guy. He has an unstrong academic profile that tells for himself. He's very innovative, so he starts things early, and everything that he does, it's really well done. All the projects, when he started, he has a lot of followers, and he keeps feeding his blogs, and everything he makes really helps a lot of people. It's not stuff like a medical app that nobody people download, but they're not using it. They're using the apps and kind of receiving new papers and up-to-date information every day. So, and when people get to know him better, like by videos and this stuff, they find that he's a very nice guy, very humble, and this really makes his audience really grow fast. So that's my opinion.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
He's my friend. He's my friend.
Okay, yeah, he's your agent. I think maybe that's a good theme for tonight. Is basically social media and how we got involved in it. I mean, I'm obviously involved in social media. That's how I'm able to meet all you guys tonight, which is great. I first started with Facebook, and unlike Julio, I really felt I didn't get it with Facebook. And however, Twitter, and I've talked to Sean about this briefly, is that Twitter, I think you could spend your lifetime. You can make a science of that thing. And I was thinking about it today. It would be a great way to curate information. You could just sit with a computer in front of you all day long and watch your Twitter board go by. If you friended the right people, you would have a tremendous stream of continual medical information, like a ticker tape. But the thing that really blew me out of the water, though, was discovering this technology. And I hope John picks it up, too, is that I was really impressed, like Julio said, about the networking possibilities of this particular platform. It was very easy for me to reach people. That's how I met all you guys, is through Hangout. And just the educational possibilities, having hangouts and talking about a certain topic, and then there was just a lot of other qualities that I think it's just starting. And the thing I think that it's keeping physicians away is that physicians are very busy people, and they don't have a lot of time to sit down and study like a social media, and it takes a while. Google Plus is not easy, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. But I think it's really going to be much more powerful in the future. But I think when doctors dedicate themselves to it, and I think it's going to become more popular. One of the most popular doctors in social media, Bersi Mezco from Hungary, yesterday announced that he's going to start doing Hangouts. So if he starts doing it, and he's written a book on social media, matter of fact, on Amazon. Very popular guy. He's going to start to do Hangouts. I think you're going to see a lot more physicians getting involved in Hangouts. So, how about you, Simon? Why don't we just go around and just talk about your social media experiences and what you're doing now, Simon?
Simon is from Wikipedia. He's there.
Yeah. Hello. I was fortunate enough to meet Dr. Bennett through Medstro, which is an online medical student and physician community. And before that, I had been, running my own blog, and particularly before starting medical school, I had come across Dr. Minarcik's videos, actually more than 3 years before starting medical school, and uh, uh, I could not really believe that there was a course, an online course in medical school pathology offered, uh, and so I spent actually about an entire year watching these videos while I was considering going to medical school, and I was just amazed at the possibilities of the internet. And so I started actually putting his videos on my own blog, and I started to consider, well, how about medical school? Is there any program that could offer, for example, the first 2 years leading up to the USMLE online? And I actually did find a program, and I contacted Dr. Minarcik to ask what he thought about online medical education, and he said, absolutely. And he actually listed 100 reasons. He has a list of 100 reasons why online lectures are great, and so I jumped right in with 2 feet, and so this is why I'm so excited with the possibilities of online education, and myself as a psychologist here in Japan, also working with medical devices in Japan. I see a great deal of possibilities.
I'm sorry, I was muting myself. Sean, would you like to say a few words about how you got involved in social media and what you're doing now with it?
Yeah, sure, John. Actually, my involvement was really at first just out of necessity. I had been involved as the chief of neurology and director of a big stroke program in a political blow-up of our practice, which affected my reputation. And so I had to go online and figure out how I could rescue myself, online essentially from this catastrophe that happened. And as I did, I realized that, as doctors, we're so insulated from the rest of the world. We're so focused and dialed in and taking care of our patients that much of the rest of the world is leaving us behind in many ways, even the most innovative of us. And there is just this emerging community of information curators out there. And it got me thinking that, at least here in the United States, if you think about how the insurance industry has affected the way we deal with patients, much of the value that doctors traditionally give to patients is in terms of passing information to them. But what we're essentially focused on these days is performing procedures. And so doctors are becoming more and more automatons and less counselors, less information curators for our patients. And I think that's where a lot of our system is failing. So I started to realize that as doctors, one of our biggest sources of value is our experience. And if we can share that experience not just on a one-to-one basis with an individual patient, but with 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 or maybe even a 1 to a million, and really affect major change across a large swath of society, we can help improve the health of many of our patients and our society in general. So that's really kind of what catalyzed me to start to position myself differently. And like many of you here, I've developed a Facebook presence, LinkedIn, and use a lot of the other social media in a way that ties it all together. I think that's what brought you and me together, John, is this belief that there's this large group of physicians out there who are really craving this kind of interaction. And if we can take this and provide value to society in general, based on our experience, we'll be elevating the health of the world. So that's it in a nutshell. You're muted, John.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, Sean. There's no borders really. There's no geography. Just like we're talking to Simon in Japan, we could just as easily be talking to anyone in Africa, wherever. And by the way, we met a neurosurgeon from Africa that will be part of this group in the future. One quick example of how this can work. There's an Israeli neurosurgeon that went to a country called Niger, and he was teaching them a stereotactic type of procedure which is basically pretty involved. But he had to go to Niger and teach it. But I think in the future, with 3D interactive tech, which is pretty new, that Israeli doctor will be able to reach a lot of neurosurgeons in remote areas and go over the procedures. So there's no borders, really. There's really no borders.
Well, John, there's not. I mean, if you think about it, look at this. I'm in the back of my car. My dear wife is driving while I'm in rural Florida talking to sophisticated physicians all over the world, right? So, you know, if you see us get hit by a pickup truck out here, please call 911. But the idea here is that, you know, you can be anywhere now. You don't have to be tethered. You don't have to be held down. And, you know, there's a lot of great experience out there in the world. We can elevate the standard of care across a large area just by having these kinds of conversations.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Okay, Marco, do you want to say a few words?
Hi, John.
Yeah, hi, Marco. You want to tell us about your experiences? I noticed you're very active on Facebook.
Okay. As I told you, I'm a clinical oncologist here in Brazil. I'm focusing in brain tumors, and I recently created a fan page in Facebook and a website. This website is named oncopedia.com.br. He's specialized in brain tumors. It's a tool to send some information to patients and a lot of physicians here in Brazil. I have the invitation to make the website in English and in Portuguese, and systematically I put there some information regarding brain tumors and lung cancer and head and neck cancer. And the fan page has today, I think, that 1 week, and in 1 week I saw less than 1 week, and I saw around 100, 150 likes per day. I'm very happy with this experience. It's a very fast acceptance here in Brazil, friends and unknown people. I'm very happy, very excited with this project, and I think that social media and it's viral, and in a few minutes, one day, everything is changed. We can see that very fastly the information go on.
Now that's the page, right?
Yeah, this is the page, right? Absolutely.
Okay,
and
that's pretty active.
Pretty active, yeah. I have posted some news in English, like clinical trials and some information, scientific articles in the most important journals in the world, like Journal of Clinical Oncology and New England Journal of Medicine, and some information regarding brain tumors and lung cancer, head and neck cancer, as I told. And I'm very excited with this project, and I think that will be an important project for the future.
Okay, very good, very good. And we hope, we were talking about this before, you guys, but hopefully Marco, me, and Felipe are going to start an Oncopedia.tv. And like there's no borders with oncology. It's all over the world. And it doesn't matter whether you run it from Brazil, Miami, you can run it from any computer, and I hope we can get that community going. Okay, John, how about telling, John has a long history. Let me just, oh, John just backed out there. But when John comes back, I'll just give his intro. He teaches online pathology. He's done it for 6 or 7 years, and he has quite a large audience worldwide. And Simon, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what John does until he comes back.
Yeah, well, Dr. Minarcik teaches a 9-month course, and while he's teaching in other countries, he actually teaches the first part out of Chicago, out of his home in Chicago, and then when he travels to teach medical schools, he broadcasts live, and he has a couple hundred people in the room while he's showing slides, and then he records those videos, so you also download videos on and watch them. For example, I was watching a pathology review of Robbins. He goes through 500 slides and asks questions, and then he'll run into the different systems, and it's just fantastic. He has such a great following. He knows his subject so well that he's able to teach it and make it very understandable. So as a student, it's fantastic. And he's also very approachable, so you can contact him on Facebook and ask him questions, and he just loves teaching. So I'm naturally drawn to him.
Well, I'm gonna pull his medical school pathology, right?
.com, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Let me see here. Okay. Okay. Here's his website, and let's see. Can you see it? Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is his website. You can download the lectures, but and right now you're going over lymphoma.
Well, I'm particularly interested in lymphoma, T-cell lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's, because my mom passed away due to that in LA actually a few years ago. I became very interested in lymphoma, but we're actually, yes, in neoplasms, and so I have a test tomorrow, so I'm just deeply into his site and going over all of the lectures, but he does it in such a good way. If you go to YouTube and put in medical school pathology, or has hundreds of videos and millions of hits. I think he has close to 10 million hits on YouTube, and he also has this series called Shotgun Histology, where he goes through about 90 slides in detail. Shotgun histology, meaning where you could shoot a shotgun and into the slide and be able to name everything on the slide. Is fantastic. But I literally spent a few years going through the slides before going to medical school, and it's helped tremendously because it's made it very easy. Well, not only pathology, but to recognize some of the the basic things you need in medical school. So I'm really feeling indebted to.
Well, I hope he can get back on, but I guess we'll move on to Felipe. Can you tell us about how you get involved with social media and what you use it for today?
I first got involved with social media after I met Julio at the UCLA. I actually was in the U.S. for one of the tests for the USMLE, the United States Medical Licensing Examination. And when I started talking to Julio, I met him. I was like wowed, and then I got very interested, and he actually invited me to be part of this project, which I'm very proud to be part of it today. So since then, I started studying actually the theoretical part of social media and medical education. And 2 weeks ago, we presented a poster at the Congress of Neurological Surgery at Boston regarding the use of YouTube videos for medical education, especially neurosurgeons. And it was very nice, very well accepted, and people commented very well over it. And we just had a great surprise at one of our papers about e-learning, that we basically talk about Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter and blogs how can neurosurgeons handle this tools better so they can get the most of it, and it was just accepted for publication, and it may be coming up in the next month. So I've been doing some research regarding medical education, and neurosurgery, it's a little bit late regarding this. There are some medical fields who are more advanced and using more videos, including YouTube videos and social media for medical education. So I think there's still a lot to do in this sense, and I think this can change medical education.
Yeah, definitely it can. You know, I ran into a neuroradiologist, which is, I guess, kind of between both specialties of neurosurgery and neurology, that's having a conference in Spain in January, and I hope we can get involved with him. Hopefully having hangouts before the conference. And, you know, actually, that was initially this walking around with the dog. Actually, that's how I initially got involved with hangouts, because John.
Yeah, I'm finally with you.
Okay, good, good. Well, I'll just finish up a little bit, but I got involved because some people from a conference on Google Glass asked me to do some hangouts, and I saw how I could reach all different corners of the world, actually, when I approached doctors about, would you do a hangout talking about your experiences with Google Glass? And I saw how I could penetrate that niche in medicine. And so I thought I could do the same thing. And we're doing it with neurology with Sean and other people, Dr. Wilner, and we're doing it with neurosurgery. And hopefully we'll extend it to neuroradiology and maybe do some pre-hangout hangouts to the neuroradiology conference in Madrid, Spain, January 16th and 17th. So John, are you back there? You want to go over your experience with social media and what you use it for today?
Okay, thanks. I've been having a hell of a time with the connection, John.
Okay.
I got kicked off about 7 times, and
wow.
I don't know, it probably was my fault because I was upstairs at my neighbor's house, and she does not have a strong Wi-Fi. But
Okay.
I ran back down to my apartment 3 stories down, and everything it looks like it's as loud and as rock solid as it could be.
Yeah.
However, even though I was kicked off a lot, I did catch a lot of young men here talking about their experiences. And of course, I'm an old guy. I'm almost 70. But it reminded me, like when I was hanging out with my little geeky friends in Florida, and we wound up having a BBS where I put tumor images on it. And it somehow got kind of involved where, I had so many political problems in Florida, and then I had a death in the family. I really got fed up with, trying to fight the government and the malpractice attorneys and the regulators. So about 10 years ago, when my wife passed away, I started teaching full-time at a local medical school. Then I noticed, because I did a lot of the anatomy and histology and pathology labs, is that I could do them much more effectively if I recorded them, because they were using virtual microscopy anyway. And since then, I put a whole bunch of movies on YouTube, and they went over really big. There's about 14 million hits now. And of course, when you get that old, that's not really a big number. I've probably been alive for about 14 million years. And then I started teaching, putting histopath online. And then I started teaching an entire path course 6 years ago. And I put it on. At first, I did something similar to what you're doing. We did Skype, and we did a combination with the screen viewing program. But the last 5 years, I've been doing these all on webinar, and it's very, very good, just like what I am finally experiencing now in the big bandwidth of my own home. So I teach the students regular old pathology course. We have virtual microscopy sessions. We do kind of like PowerPoint decaffeinations of Robbins' textbook. And in the last 3 years now, I wasn't just happy with doing it online. I thought I'd want to do it simultaneously. So now I've been at a really good American medical school in Puerto Rico during the cold months. And what I do is I teach in the auditorium regular pathology course so they could fulfill their anxieties for the STEP exam. And then while I'm doing that, I'm also broadcasting. So it's no different than just, dancing around like a clown in front of a classroom. The only difference is that you're wearing headphones and you're broadcasting on your computer simultaneously as well. And that's where I'm at now. There's a few things I want to develop in terms of perhaps utilizing the chat and video possibilities greater. But like everybody else here has been saying, this is so wide and fun and great. And also, I want to mention that, I think a lot of times as doctors, when we're in private practice, we don't really experience the joy and the fulfillment that we looked for when we were 3 years old and our cat died and we decided to be a doctor. What I'm doing now is not only massively enjoyable, but it's the first time I really feel like a doctor. And it's, I hate to use the word because I'm going to sound like a religious geek, but it's very, very redemptive because Hippocrates did mandate us to share our knowledge freely. I have nothing more to say. Thank you for letting me speak, and even thank you more for letting me listen to your wonderful ideas too.
Well, thanks, John. Hopefully we'll get you to do some pathology hangouts. Although I don't know if we can increase your audience. So, thank you, gentlemen. Now, just before we go, since this is a neurosurgical TV, we'll because what we're basically trying to do is establish a niche deeply into neurosurgery, and it certainly does help to start with a host like Julio, who has so many followers and is so popular in the neurosurgical community. And the way I see it, of course, Julio's going to run it, but I guess just a way to get inside is by maybe interviewing other neurosurgeons and maybe giving lectures on certain areas in neurosurgery, and really reaching out to anybody. You can reach out to anybody in the world as long as that neurosurgeon has an internet connection. And who knows where it's going to go? Maybe we'll start getting into having patients watch and have certain presentations on neurosurgical, like brain trauma, and maybe Sean can get involved in that, and or other types of things that patients have questions about. We don't know where it's going to go, but we'll go where we have to go. And Julio, what do you think? What are your ideas, Julio, and what you want to do with the neurosurgical TV? Do you have any ideas?
In my opinion is, don't shy, just try. Never mind. We can keep follow, do what we want. We can have fun with this. For me, it's interesting. I met John Mickley, Simon. So for me, that's more important. Talk about fields. In my opinion, when you go for the congress or conference, you just sit and listen. Here we can talk. So I prefer talk than listen.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, I was thinking about that today, Julio, was that, what makes it such a comfortable platform. Here we are at home or wherever we're at, relaxed, and it's not such a formal thing. And I don't know, I just get the feeling that you can kind of think better than in a formal setting. Of course, there's always a place for lectures and stuff, but it's also nice to have another option to be educated and to relax. I mean, how more relaxed can you get than being at your home computer in your house? I mean, that's when it's kind of I'm not nervous at all.
Yes. And for me, for example, when I go for other kind of conference, sometimes, for example, you are American, so you know about the American hospital. I'm a Brazilian, I have public health, it's medicine is medicine, never mind where you live, but the real world is different. So in this way, we can talk with a neurosurgeon from Africa, from Europe. We can talk with Peter Kahn. So for me, that is more important. We can talk, share experience, share knowledge. That's I imagine that could be the neurosurgical TV goal.
Okay, and certainly there's been, of course, I was talking to Felipe before this broadcast, is getting neurosurgeons together. That's not too easy. Some weeks, and I tell neurosurgeons when I write to them, I say, we don't expect you to come every week, but whenever you can, and everyone can relate to that. Every doctor can relate to that. Is that sometimes you have time, sometimes you don't. So we'll have neurosurgeons dropping in. And I think it'll slowly get stronger because I've heard from neurosurgeons in the Middle East, a couple from Iran, from all India, from all over the place. So maybe we'll reach the neurosurgeons that no one's reached before. And I know Julio has a neurosurgical friend from Nairobi, Kenya, that was just in Rio. And Brain Doc is his Twitter handle. I communicate with him, and he wants to be part of this group, and he's in Nairobi, Africa. So
that's great.
Yeah, that's great. And so maybe we'll be able to reach neurosurgeons that really are kind of isolated in their world, and we can kind of spread ideas around, or at least have a place to give them to spread ideas around.
And in my opinion, John, for example, you have a lot of kind of medical TV, so we can share. For example, if you listen a very interesting conference here, I don't know, interesting hangout about the Google Glass, so they can give the same presentation here or same talk about this. So you can organize, neurosurgical fields and other kind of fields, because for example, I can study about hydrocephalus in book or internet, but it's difficult to learn how to use Google Glass, so we can put different subjects here. So.
Yes. Anybody?
Well, John, I'll just chime in. I think that, Julio, what you're getting at there is the idea of cross-pollination. I think that one of the problems that affects us is that we get so insulated, even as specialists. I crave contact with my neurosurgical colleagues, which are, just down the hall, but I think I see them less than I've seen you tonight. So, it's to be able to, to get on and talk about trends. You talk about hydrocephalus, maybe some of the newer trends in other areas of engineering that affect non-invasive ICP monitoring and minimally invasive techniques to, recanalize the aqueduct or minimally invasive ways of diverting cerebral spinal fluid. These things are happening out there, but to be able to have that cross-pollination can be very rich. Imagine bringing on a neuropsychologist here and having a focused talk about normal pressure hydrocephalus and early intervention, and people who are in their 50s and sparing frontal lobe function, and having a neuropsychologist involved in the conversation can be very helpful. So I think if we continue to build this community, and this is where John has been just so wonderful and proactive here, recognizing the power of building the community to actually have these larger discussions, we can have a big impact on each other and on millions of people, really.
Yeah, Sean, what are you using an iPhone now for your telecast?
I sure am.
Well, I mean, you guys, this shows you where we can go with this, because you could be at a conference now, like Sean is with his iPhone, and you could be interviewing someone with an iPhone. I mean, it's incredible. And if any of you guys go to a conference, let us know. We can, you could live broadcast from the conference with simply something you have in your pocket.
Yep.
It's incredible where we're going to be able to go. Okay, guys, I think we'll wrap it up for episode 1. Thanks everybody for coming out.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, congratulations, Julio. That's your first show.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off, and then we'll just hang around as long as you want. Okay, good night, world.